Hey everybody, it's Tim Long, one half of a horror movie yearbook, here with your horror hotline for July 24th, 2018. Thank you everybody once again for listening. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up. If you're enjoying this, I've been putting them up on SoundCloud, but make sure you head on over. I've been throwing them up on our YouTube page as well. That's YouTube. It's Horror Movie Yearbook. Just search for us on YouTube. You can subscribe to us there, so like and subscribe over there. I'm working on trying to get these up in a couple other places. You can also check them out on our website, which should be updating daily now that I'm doing these, horrormovieyearbook.com. If you have any feedback for us, just write in, let us know. The Gmail is horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com. You can always also get at us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. I think those are the only ways, but Twitter, our handle is HM Yearbook, at HM Yearbook. Facebook, we're at Horror Movie Yearbook. Instagram, we're at Horror Movie Yearbook as well. But yeah, make sure to remember that email, horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com. We love feedback. We are recording a new episode of the main show tonight. We're talking about fear. We are going to be wrapping up the Comic-Con news from the big weekend. So yeah, check it out. But today, let's jump into the news for today. Tales from the Hood 2 had its first screening at Fantasia Fest in Montreal a couple days ago. Wanted to catch up. It was a big weekend with the Comic-Con news, so some of the Fantasia Fest news slipped through the cracks a little bit for me, but wanted to catch up a little bit. Tales from the Hood is, of course, a sequel to the first film released in 1995. That movie is one of my favorite horror anthologies of all time. I think it's funny. I think it's angry. I think it's smart. I think it's just a really, I don't know if there's a bad segment in the bunch, which is something to say for a horror anthology, but yeah, I think it's great. This is from director Rusty Cundiff and producer Spike Lee. Both are back for this one. They are joined by the original's co-writer Darren Scott as co-director. This sees inner city undertaker Mr. Sims, played by the great Keith David, introducing several people to four tales that ultimately revolve around their fates. I'm not going to go over what the tales are about right now. I don't want to get too spoilery here, plot-wise. So I'm gonna leave that out. I'm just gonna go into some of the reviews that have kind of trickled out of Fantasia Fest so far. It had its premiere this past weekend, I believe. This is also going to be released on DVD, Blu-ray, VOD on October 2nd is the street date for it. But anyway, some of the reviews coming out. Max Every from Coming Soon says that the film has its heart in the right place, but won't win any points for subtlety. Rob Hunter from Film School Rejects says Tales from the Hood 2 is clearly more sincere than subtle, and it's working on a visibly small budget, but it works well enough as a horror anthology with an agenda beyond fictional horrors. And Andrew Todd from Birth Movies Death says Tales from the Hood 2, co-directed by Cundiff and Darren Scott, feels rushed out to meet the times in which it was made. The cinematography is overlit and digital. The production design tacky. References to Black Lives Matter, Me Too, MAGA, and fake news forced and clumsy. It could have used another editorial pass too. But there are two sides to every coin. Tales 2 feels just as righteously angry as its predecessor. So, what am I taking from these reviews? Honestly, I've been a big proponent of this, of my own opinion. But no, I've always thought, I think a couple of these reviews mentioned subtlety. I've always thought subtlety is a bit overrated, especially when you're trying to make a point, which is what the Tales from the Hood movies obviously are trying to make. These are angry films, and they're angry about social injustices and all sorts of stuff. So if you're trying to make a point on that, I don't think subtlety is the route to go. Just say it and say it angry. These are trying to be that sort of film, the kind of film that angers the right people, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if you're trying to anger the right people, subtlety is not a tool that you want to use. Just come out, just say it. Because most of the time, if you're trying to be subtle with this type of film, if you're too subtle, people will miss the point. So yeah, just come out and say what you feel. I feel like wanting subtlety in a movie like this is like wanting Public Enemy to not be Public Enemy, or for like Rage Against the Machine, or maybe Prophets of Rage to not rage against the machine. So that actually, the reviews that say it's not a subtle film actually provides me with a little bit of that, gives me a little bit more hope than, because the reviews are mixed to say the best. I mean, I picked 3 of them out, but all of the reviews kind of seem to tend to go along the same route. On the other hand, the cheapness is the part of the reviews that worry me. This has always seemed like a movie that has been rushed and done on the cheap. I think as a way to capitalize off of some of the buzz that was around Get Out and other social horrors, and really kind of the buzz that has been created among horror circles of the reevaluation of the first one. I mean, the first one got forgotten for a little while, and then that Scream Factory special edition came out last year. Get Out, of course, came out that same year. So this has always kind of felt like a film that was rushed. Oh, and then, I mean, of course, it's rushed out for, well, everything that's going on right now, the Trump presidency and just really everything going on in the country. So this has always kind of felt like that. It was rushed out to kind of capitalize on those things. Cheapness is honestly, of the 2 things that seem to pop up, cheapness and a lack of subtlety, cheapness is the bigger issue for me. I think it can hurt what a movie is going for, is if the budget isn't there, and a lot of that has to do with the look of the film as well. A lot of the comments say that cinematography is kind of clunky and digital, and the production design doesn't. It sounds like it looks kind of bad. I wouldn't lob that criticism at the first film. I think the first film is a pretty good-looking movie. So that is the criticism that seems to be holding me back. At least from the reviews, nobody has said it's really flat out bad, but the reviews have tempered my expectations a little bit, which is a good thing. I kind of know what I'm getting into going in. Make sure to check out those guys' reviews over at their respective websites. They go a little bit more into details of the different anthology segments that we're going to be seeing. So yeah, make sure to check out their reviews. I didn't go in plot wise, but they do if you're interested in that sort of thing. A couple other movies of interest for this podcast and for horror movie fans kind of debuted over the weekend too. We'll catch up a little bit on them. Laplace's Witch is the new movie directed by Miike Takahashi. When a series of inexplicable deaths by hydrogen sulfide poisoning occurs, a university geochemistry professor, Shizuke Ao, is engaged to consult on the cases. During his course of investigation, he meets a strange girl with extraordinary abilities, who is searching for a missing friend, calling herself Laplace's Witch. She will bring new clues to the table that will change Ao's beliefs forever. Some of the reviews, they seem to be pretty uniform in this. They kind of make it. This is Miike Takahashi, who did Audition, 13 Assassins, all sorts of stuff. Dead or Alive. Overall, this is a run-of-the-mill Japanese drama thriller that could have used a bit more of that Miike edge to really make it work. That's from Laura Di Girolamo over at Exclaim magazine. Excuse me. And this seems to be a little bit more of Miike going through the motions. Miike is an incredibly prolific filmmaker. His last movie, Blade of the Immortal, was pretty well received. That was his 100th movie, we think. He does so many movies. But he seems to have been a bit more hit or miss lately, and this kind of sounds like it's in the middle of that. I've seen a lot of 6 out of 10s thrown at it. A lot of this movie's kind of slow. This movie doesn't really have much to say. And then the other one that really was of interest to me was The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot. Oh, and then The Bigfoot. This story follows a legendary American war veteran named Calvin Barr, who, decades after serving in World War II and assassinating Adolf Hitler, must now hunt down the fabled Bigfoot. Living a peaceful life in New England, the former veteran is contacted by the FBI and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to lead the charge, as the creature is carrying a deadly plague and it's hidden inside the Canadian wilderness. This is produced by John Sayles. One of the reviews, this is from Mike Vanderbilt over at Daily Grindhouse, and this kind of sums up a lot of the reviews I've been seeing. Bigfoot is a low-key character study, albeit one punctuated with bursts of gangbusters action, as well as a rumination on loss and finding purpose in life. I have read some pretty solid reviews on this. I know it has a pretty grindhousey, kind of silly title. But I've seen Bubba Hotep, maybe a less silly version of Bubba Hotep, thrown around a little bit. It's more straightforward than that film, though. It seems to be more of a sober reflection on old age and looking back at your life than the title might suggest. The title, like I said, is very kind of silly, very video story, very grindhousey. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that one. Out on DVD VOD today, we have Incident in a Ghostland. Following her aunt's death, Colleen and her daughters inherit her house. However, during their first night in their new home, murderers enter the home, putting Colleen in a situation where she must fight to save her daughter's lives. When the girls suffer a terrible trauma during the night, their disparate personalities diverge even further. That is from Vertical Entertainment. That's out today. Oh no, here's the big one. I'm sorry, I don't even know why. That was Incident in a Ghostland. Yeah, whatever. I don't know about that one. Here's the one I do know about. This is Sunset Society. Let me tell you about Sunset Society. Welcome to the world of Sunset Society, a secret organization in Hollywood where parties are held, musicians gather, and blood flows freely. Ace, played by Lemmy from Motorhead, is the head vampire in charge who likes to keep the fun going while keeping the profile low. However, due to a few rebels in his midst, humans are starting to catch on to his vampire ways. So this is Lemmy from Motorhead playing the head vampire in charge of a secret vampire society, it seems. This is my pick of the week. I have not watched a trailer on this. I just learned about it like 10 minutes ago when I was looking for stuff that was coming out on DVD and VOD, because it's a lean week for DVD VOD. It's a lean Tuesday. Sunset Society, that's the pick. Watch it. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. It's my stamp of approval, even though I have not seen anything about it. I don't care. It has Lemmy from Motorhead as a head of a secret vampire society. All right, guys. That's it for today. Thank you seriously again for listening. Check us out. You can follow us on Twitter. I've been posting them on there. You can jump on over to horrormovieyearbook.com, our YouTube channel. Like I said, going to try to get it up in a couple different places. I'm going to try to keep doing these things as regular as I can. Make sure to check out the podcast network Patreon. We're part of the Midwest Podcast Network, along with a bunch of other great shows. That's patreon.com/MidwestPodNet. You can donate for as little as $1 a month. And we've got some separate tiers there as well. And you get some perks along with those. So thank you guys once again for listening. Thank you guys and girls, men and women, for listening. And have a good day.